Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining, wherever you're joining from. Always good to see where people are from on the map up there. Apparently there's only enough room in San Francisco for one person because John was blocked by Gwen, also from San Francisco. And I think I got covered up by Michael from Portland. Welcome to another week. So, yeah, if you have a question, drop your question in the chat, starting with the letter Q, and it'll put it into my little questions column here. Which I had an idea of actually. I was thinking about maybe putting the questions on the screen, like in the question queue, so you could kind of see how many questions are up there. I don't know. I thought it could be kind of fun. I got that idea from the last week. I was at the Microsoft Studios, DevRel Studios, formerly Microsoft Channel 9, doing an interview, and they had the hosts in front of a giant touch screen that was showing the audience questions, and then they would like tap on the screen to blow up the question. I thought it was cute. I could definitely do the obviously that's not a touch screen, but I could definitely do the questions on the screen. It'd be kind of fun. Anyway, welcome. If I suddenly have to disappear briefly, it's because a police officer is stopping by. I don't think he's going to knock on the door. But if I disappear, that's why. It should be brief. There is last night, we got woken up at like 1:30 a.m. because somebody was yelling very loudly in the back. And they were just completely incoherent, but very loud, shouty, and then also set off the alarm because they went too far into the lot. Anyway, I looked back at the video, and it turns out they had slept for 30 minutes in the yard, and then woke up and was still extremely drunk. And then got very shouty. And then this morning, I discovered that they left their phone here. So I assume they're going to come back looking for it, if they remember where they found it. And but I called the police non-emergency and told them that there was a phone here from somebody who was very loud on the street. And I assume they also got reported by somebody else because I saw on the recording, I saw a police car drive up the street. Shortly after that, anyway, so anyway, I don't expect them to knock on my door. Try it out and see how you like it. Well, the problem is that I would have to like write a bunch of code to make it work, but I could do that. Maybe I can vibe code it. Doing an unmoderatable invite pranksters, that is possibly true, although so far that hasn't been a problem, but I will definitely need a way to remove things from the screen if I do this. MC Online Event says, just as you said, sorry if I have to disagree, my YouTube cut to ads. I got a notice on when I logged into YouTube today that said that ads are going to show up next to the live stream so that the viewers are not interrupted. So if you got interrupted, then YouTube is lying to me and I am concerned. So, interesting. I'd be interested to know what you need for a smooth IRL stream that doesn't lose connection so quickly. So, okay, this is actually an interesting thing I wanted to talk about today. Because in 2 weeks, no, next week, oh my God. Well, okay, I guess we gotta make a plan. We gotta make a plan. Next week, on Sunday, is the bridge pedal. So that is the event I did last year where I got up very early and rode around a bunch of the bridges in Portland. And, oh, there's the officer. He got the phone. And is he going to knock on the door? It looks like no. Great. Just looking around. Oh, there's a guy walking his dog. Cool. Problem solved. Interesting. This is not a police officer. It's like their non-police response. This is not a police car. Must be the I forget what they're called. Anyway, great. So bridge pedal next week, Sunday. The got up early at like 6 or something and went up to it starts on the Fremont Bridge and then right around across a bunch of the bridges. It was really fun. Last year, what I did was I brought the drone and let's see, I always forget which of my Stream Deck buttons this is the right one. Oh, I unplugged it. That's why. I wanted to show you the clips from last year. But I was doing something else with this iPad in the meantime. There we go. So yeah, some of these videos are drone clips. Some of these are not drone clips. This one is the drone that's trying to follow in front of me, the little tiny one. And I was extremely nervous about it because I didn't know how fast I could go. It mostly worked. Don't know if I would do that again. Also, thankfully, I was very far away from people at this point. But as soon as people started getting close to me, I was like, nope. Anyway, the bigger drone, I was flying like next to the bridges and stuff to get some shots of the event, which was kind of cool. Anyway, shut down all the bridges. Not all of them. They shut down many of the bridges to cars, at least in one direction, like you can see here. And it's just a fun chance to go and ride in places that you normally can't ride. So it was fun. Last year I did this drone recordings of the riders, but this year I was thinking about doing something different. I was thinking about this year doing a live stream and just streaming the whole ride with a couple of cameras attached to the bike, front, back, maybe a handheld. So I think it'd be fun. And one of the ways I was thinking about doing that would be as a way to test out some of the IRL gear. And that's why I wanted to talk about this when I saw that question. So I was thinking about could I use it as an opportunity to test out a couple of the Kilo View P3 and the Director Mini with Speedify and the YoloBox with their encoder. Wow, I really zipped fast on that one. I think this was the start of the ride. Anyway, use it as a chance to test out a couple of different encoders at the same time. So pile it all onto the bike, grab the big battery, and attach a couple of the cameras to, I guess, somehow all of the devices. I'm not sure how I will do that. I might have to cannibalize the splitters that are up on that shelf for that. And I have a couple of different internet connections I can use. So I can bring the Starlink Mini. I can bring a travel router with a SIM card in it and a phone for tethering. And share the connection across all the devices, I guess, would make sense, and see how it goes. Then we can see which of the bonding solutions works the best. Be kind of fun. So yeah, let me know if you think that's a good idea, or if you have any other suggestions for what I could do on the ride. I think I won't bring the drone this year, just because it is. I did this last year. Try something else this year. That's my thought. Michael says, I'm really missing out by not having a bike in Portland. Yes, you are. You should definitely have a bike here. Aiden says, are you still using Mint for cellular? So my main phone is still Mint. That's like my daily phone that I use for everything. And it does have the tethering ability. I also have a actual T-Mobile plan, which is currently on an eSIM on my old phone. I kind of want to port that over to a physical SIM card so I can pop it into the travel router. So in the meantime, I have to like. Oh yeah, I also have another Mint. I have so many phones right now. I have another Mint plan for my work phone, but it's only 5 gigs of data. But that's on a SIM card that I can put into a travel router. And then T-Mobile, and then Starlink. Those are the 3 data sources I would have. Matt says I use my Neo all the time, more than the Mini. It's very cool. And the Neo with the controller is like I haven't actually used the Neo's auto tracking stuff. But with the when you pair it to the controller, it becomes just a regular drone, more or less. But I still have to fix mine because I got ran over, and I have not yet done this project, and I need to at some point find a couple of minutes to tear it all apart and resolder that. Throw the Mind Media Bonder in the mix. Could be fun, although I don't know how much upload bandwidth I'll have in total. I wonder if I could do 4 streams. Skippable ads are running over your live stream. That's annoying. It told me it was going to put them next to it. Here, let's change the ad rate because I think it's set to like. It says balanced. I will change it to conservative. Sounds like a members only stream fixing the drone is in the future. Absolutely. Probably not today, but and then probably not Saturday because Saturday I'm probably going to need to set up the bike with all of the live stream gear on it to do the bridge pedal on Sunday. Oh yeah, so if I do this on Sunday, last year what I did was I started my live stream an hour late, so at 10 a.m. in Portland instead of 9 a.m. And starting at 10 a.m. meant I had enough time to actually do the entire ride and get back here after the whole loop and start the live stream at 10. And that worked pretty well. But the other way I could do this is if I am doing a live stream, it'll start early. It'll start like probably like 7, so 2 hours earlier than this. I could just keep going live over the normal time and do it as a public live stream, just starting a little bit early. I won't really have a chance to do much testing of it ahead of time, so it will be testing live. And because of that, I was thinking if I am going to try to do like multiple streams out, what I could actually do is do multiple streams to devices in the network in the studio here, and then stream from here to YouTube like I normally do, just with a couple of different boxes, and we could like see the video feeds coming from each of the encoders. I would need a way to change the audio in case one of them drops. See how that works. Could be fun. If I have some time to set that up on later today or Saturday. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I've been thinking about. I didn't realize, I thought I had 2 weeks, but I guess it really is just next week already. Yeah. And I have a trip to San Francisco in the middle of all this too between now and then. So we'll see how it goes. Cool. Other thing I've been thinking about lately is the Roadcaster video, because I've decided for sure I'm switching Lily's studio over to the Roadcaster video. Now it's just a matter of do it now or do it later. And randomly I noticed that it's currently on sale. So if you like decent chunk off too. I'll drop this link in the chat. It is like, it's on sale I think it's the same price everywhere, but B&H has it for 1,042. So in other currencies, it's also reduced. I don't know why. I don't know why they dropped the price, but I also don't know if it's a permanent price drop or not. It is not. It doesn't say sale on B&H, but it does on Amazon. And yeah, interesting. Anyway, that was enough. I was like, okay, this is a chance to. This is a good chance to pick one up for Lily's studio while it's on sale, and now I can start setting it up for her. So the we can do that on the stream today since I have it here. I've got it set up here. This is the new one. I actually have it routed into the I've got the like her little ISO test clips routed back into it, so I can play with that. Where did it go? There it is. Yeah. So it's running the recording of 4 of her cameras from a stream several months ago back into the Roadcaster, so I can switch it live and test it out and set up all the scenes. But I haven't done any setup yet other than plugging in the video feeds, so we could do that on the stream today too. Amazon calls any price decrease a sale. It's true, they do. They really make it look like things are on sale more often than they are. They are calling this, yeah, they're calling this a 14% sale, which I think it's actually not normally $11.78, so that's interesting. But yeah, no idea if this is a permanent sale or not, permanent price drop or not, but it was cool. Gwen says it'd be interesting to do a long stream to test if stream length affects any of the encoder's performance. I agree. Yeah, that's very commonly a limitation as well. Some of them will just not do well after a long time. Matt says, getting ready for my 13-week around the world trip. Used HoloFlight eSIMs on my recent trip to Iceland, London. Anybody have another eSIM company they recommend? Yeah, drop your recommendations in the chat if you want to. I have used Airalo and Nomad, and they've been fine. I usually price compare between the two before I go on a trip, and depending on the region and how many countries I'll be in, I pick up whatever's gonna be cheaper. Let me see if there's any affiliate like discounts if you sign up from a link. Probably there are. Oh gosh, I can't log in on the website. I've fully become a Rode fan. It's true. I mean, for certain things, yes. The notice that my live stream is not using the Roadcaster video, but for a setup like Lily's, it makes a ton of sense. It's here. I'll just start setting it up because that'll show you what's going on. Alonzo says it's not permanent, so it's time to buy. Speaking of Roadcaster video, do you think they'll bring the new CallMe feature on the Roadcaster video? Okay, yeah. So, the Roadcaster Pro 2 and Duo launched just this week a new feature called CallMe, which is actually a separate company, but they built this into the Roadcaster Pro 2 and Duo. So this is a way to connect either multiple, like 2 Roadcasters to each other, or invite a guest to call in from a browser, or like a phone, or actually connecting to the SIP, which is something I want to try. But it's meant to be like you send a link, just like you would expect. Like you send to somebody a link, you give them a code that shows on your Roadcaster, and then they can join, and their audio gets piped in over the internet. So either super easy remote guests, remote interviews, or you have 2 studios that you want to connect to Roadcasters. CallMe is where is it? Here it is. It's a company that is as old as this website looks, and they have a lot of like they've done traditional broadcast gear for a long time, right? Like linking. Let's see, where is their product catalog? Like a lot of these things are things you would find in actual radio studios or TV studios for remote guests or remote audio links. As far as I can tell, it's all audio. There's no video solutions that they have, but it's things like coupling a landline to the broadcast or the broadcast studio or voice over IP and stuff. So, you know, lots of stuff. But now Bluetooth intercom, like a lot of random stuff they have, right? I think they just do the software for this, and then like these hardware things are made by different companies, similar to the RØDECaster, which I don't think it's on this list yet, but yeah, they didn't put it in this list yet. Anyway, super cool that Rode is basically making this like super accessible to people. So it's not free. There is a free tier, but it's not all free. There are limits on the service, which makes sense because it is routing audio through someone's servers, the CallMe company. So you get like, I forget what it is, like some number of hours to connect to RØDECasters, and then separate number of hours for remote web browsers for free, and then you can upgrade to 2 different tiers. I saw a pricing page somewhere. Let's see if I can find it again. There it is. So they have one channel, which is either for a remote guest or 10 hours of RØDECaster to RØDECaster or 5 hours of browser calling, which is actually, honestly, a lot, right? Because like if you're doing a weekly podcast, you can host an hour-long remote call once a week for the month, and you're fine, right? If you want multiple remote guests, then there's a $10 a month plan, and then you get unlimited time on those. And then the Pro tier, which is $50 a month, which goes up a lot, gives you 3 channels, including SIP calling, which is something I'm actually really interested in playing with, because it sounds to me like once you add the SIP feature, it becomes pretty much like an actual pro broadcast studio solution at that point. Because I'm going to do the trial of it and test this out. I am going to try to actually connect it to my phone system here, and the give it like an extension on the phone system, make it so that I can, you know, use my Wi-Fi phone or actually call my phone number, my house phone number, and route a call into the RØDECaster with an extension, things like that, which would be kind of fun to try. So anyway, that came out this week. I haven't actually played with it yet, but I just did not have time while they were doing the beta of that. But Tom has a good video going through the whole feature, so I don't even know if I need to make a video about it at this point, about like a whole tutorial, but he did a good job. Let me see if I can find his video to drop that link in the chat. Yeah, there it is. Tom's CallMe video, and that's in the chat now. And his video goes through the whole thing. So if you're curious about seeing it step by step, go watch that. But now, what about video? Because that seems like the natural next step. What about the RØDECaster video, right? And I saw somebody in, I think it was Tom's comments, asking if they're going to bring CallMe to the RØDECaster video. I feel like probably no. My instinct would be that they would not do that on the RØDECaster video, because people would assume that it would also bring a video feed in, and it won't, because the CallMe audio feature is just audio. However, there are other ways they could do remote guests integration on the RØDECaster video. So I think we will see something for that, but I don't know when or what it will look like exactly. I just suspect it won't be CallMe. Aiden says it would be cool if you could do it locally without the limitations, but I'm guessing there's a licensing cost and they're eating the cost. I also assume that, because if you look at like this is the software that it's using, right? And let's see, do they have like a software license option? I thought I saw something about just the software on here. That's an awful lot of hardware. Is it that one? Anyway, I assume that they license their software. If not directly, then they're licensing it to these companies. And Rode just made a good deal with them for it and are eating the cost of it. And they're also, when you subscribe to this, you are subscribing from like you're paying Rode. It's like through a Rode account portal. Oops, I told them that link is broken. They haven't fixed it yet. So you do it through the Rode portal, not from the CallMe company. So there's clearly some, deal going on behind the scenes there. Yeah, super interesting. Oh, there's the CallMe. It's just in the CallMe section. Click and connect. So subscription codec service lets computers send high quality broadcast audio back to the studio without dedicated hardware or software. I wonder what the other end of it is. Oh, so they just show you. Oh, this is so you can put it onto your own webpage. Okay, that makes sense. And then you use the different hardware options to tap into it. It's very cool. But it is also very, very cool that this stuff is so much more accessible now with the RØDECaster Duo. I feel like it's a, it's just, yeah, it's very different now. Aiden says, I'm guessing Rode's answer is going to be to connect a Duo or Pro over USB to use the CallMe on the RØDECaster video. That would absolutely work. Yep, that would work. Matt says, when I produced the podcast, we just threw calls in via cell phone to the RØDECaster Pro 2 and it worked fine. True, yeah, that is also totally fine. I think, yeah, I haven't actually done that now that I think about it. Because you can connect it to your phone over Bluetooth and then try that. I'll need to do some playing around with that. Emmanuel says, do you think Rode would come out with a new mixer with more inputs and aux outs this year or next? Video mixer or audio mixer? I suspect they're not eager to do a hardware revision of the RØDECaster video anytime soon. It's still relatively new, and there's a lot of things that they have not yet... there's a lot of hardware in it that they have not yet tapped into. Based on what they've told me about like the different chips that are inside, there was like a diagram on one of their slides, which is, I can't share it unfortunately, but it shows all the different like components and chips that are inside and subsystems. And there's a lot of stuff in there that they can do that they have not shipped firmware updates for yet. So I think they're going to work on a lot of firmware updates to this first before doing another hardware revision. Because it has like, it's got a lot of options. Obviously, it's only got 2 HDMI outs. Would be nice to have a couple more options for that for various things. But there's still a lot you can do with 2 outputs, right? Sven says, what's your prediction on new trends and developments in the creator market? I feel like the ATEM Mini kicked off a lot of similar and then slowly evolving budget video switchers. And similar with the Rode Go for wireless mics. Both areas seem a little stale at the moment. Where do you think the next huge step will come? Good question. Yeah, I've kind of felt like this too. And I can't tell if this is because I haven't had as much time to spend like playing around with all this or focus on new product launches or whatever. But I also feel like things are kind of like we've saturated the market, right? Like ATEM Mini was a huge revolution. It took it made traditional broadcast gear much more accessible to a lot more people. Smaller, like cheaper price point, simpler feature set, still very capable. And then we saw a bunch of companies either copying the ATEM Mini or trying to create slightly better versions of it, fixing some of the gaps, things like that. And then we ended up with the RØDECaster video as one of the, I think, best examples of something that is clearly inspired by the ATEM Mini. Like the form factor is almost identical. I don't think this would exist without the ATEM Mini, but they really thought about it differently. So they really went back to the drawing board and like did a significant design revision, but it's still, fundamentally the same kind of thing, right? And same thing happened with wireless mics. Like they got small, and then everybody started making them, and they're all basically the same at this point, right? There's like, the question is, does it have built-in recording? Is the recording 32-bit float? What's the size? Is it like super tiny? There's different like configurations of, can you start and stop recording from the mic or from the receiver? There's, but they're all like basically the same. So I don't know, like I don't feel like particularly excited about another microphone coming out anytime soon. Like what's it going to do that the current ones don't? But I think one of the things that one of the places to that this stuff can change, I think, is the remote contribution workflows. And I know we're like many years late to it being such a necessary part of everybody's day. But it is still hard to do. It is, the current solutions are okay. There's still a lot of improvement, and people will always need to do remote contributions still. Just last week, I was filming an event. I was not filming. I don't even know what, I guess producer is the name for that role. But I was on the set of an event being filmed that is entirely about like content I've been working on, the project I've been working on. Anyway, I was basically doing script supervision of like, make sure they're saying things that make sense and don't need to retake lines or whatever. And it was a good thing I was there because I found a few spots we had to redo some stuff. Most of it was in person. So there was like 2 people that showed up for an interview, but then they had a couple people who couldn't be there in person and they had to join remotely. And this was a very, very large production, very expensive production. Let me find a photo for reference to give you an idea of the scale of this operation. This is the event is the video is not out until about 2 weeks from now, so I can't show you the actual video, but it's not so secret that I can't show you the behind the scenes pictures of the studio. So this was the set, and so they took over like the lunch cafeteria area in the office. Full film crew, like big cameras, big camera rigs, 2 manual track the camera operators were sliding the cameras back and forth on, 2 focus pullers. They had a ton of lights rigged up. But it was really just a 3 camera operation, right? So the wide shot and 2 close-ups. And I like this sticker a lot. I think it's hilarious. But so that was the in-person interview. Went great, straightforward enough. These were the actual people being recorded. The others were just like the crew, or they were doing camera placement. So serious operation, right? Just to give you an idea of the scale of that. And then later in the day, one of the other things being recorded was with someone remotely. And this is an example of I feel like the tools could use some improvement because what they ended up doing was this. So they had the guy in the office, you know, all well lit and set up and everything. And they did send a crew over to the remote person. And, you know, somebody clearly like thought about the composition of that shot, and there's clearly a light being used. But it was not, you know, $50,000 of camera gear they brought to the office over there. But she was just on Zoom, and it was just a Zoom call, and it was this laptop on a Zoom call, and there's a little speaker, like didn't get a good photo of, sitting behind this laptop that was the talent who was sitting behind this table was listening to, just the speaker behind the laptop, like little tiny portable speaker. It was loud enough, and but I was like, okay, how are you recording this? Are you just recording in Zoom and we're getting Zoom quality recording? They do have a 1080 account, at least, so there's that. Did they ask her to record locally? Are we doing like Zoom ISO? And it turns out they had asked her to record locally, and whoever was on that end running that did not record locally. So now we have to deal with the audio glitches that were happening because the Wi-Fi stuttered a few times. Anyway, that's just such a perfect example of like a crew with that much gear should be able to do a better remote workflow, better remote video interview. And it's just hard still. Obviously it's possible. But it's hard. Neil says those are film people. In many cases, they can't do live. I agree. It's a very different skill set, and it's just very, very different. And that's something where I feel like the Roadcaster video could help, right? Because like I feel like film people could take a look at the Roadcaster video and figure it out. If you could link two Roadcaster videos to each other for the remote contribution, then you can ISO record in that. I don't know. Like it is, I feel like there's a lot of better possibilities that, and that's where we can really see some innovation. Michael says, as a traditional film person who converted to live, Nils is 100% correct. They brought more like $500,000 worth of, yes, absolutely. In the office side, I was talking about the remote side where there was clearly they clearly brought something to the remote side. It was not just the laptop. But it was not, yeah. Sven says, I feel like there are better tools for remote guests already. It just seems like crews don't care to prepare properly. It's because it's a whole different skill set, right? And I think that they don't, they clearly didn't have anybody experienced in the live side of it. Yeah, Riverside works really well. Zoom is low quality compared to Riverside. Yeah, Riverside is a good option. Then at least that records in the browser locally and uploads much better than Zoom already, I feel like, for that. Apron says, would you mind telling me the name of the mic in which you are currently using? So actually, I'm wearing this, but this is not live right now. I'm using the overhead mic, which I use whenever I can, which is the... let me drop the link in the chat. There it is. It is the Audio Technica AT875R. Michael says, my big irk with Riverside is it doesn't cap the upload speed, so the live experience is still crummy on non-symmetric connections. Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah. Sven says, people can't be bothered to pre-plan sending proper equipment to the remote site and plan local recording. I don't think a Roadcaster video would see those people buy that hardware. I don't know. They clearly, like, they had at least one person over there. I think more than one. And they clearly brought something. I don't know what they brought over to that end, but it was something. And if it was like, yeah, I don't know. Gwen says, for that kind of step, I feel like you need the remote camera to locally record to match the set camera. So probably some sort of camera to cloud integration that also has video call functionality. Yeah, there we go. That's an idea. Yeah, because a lot of the camera to cloud stuff does not do live at all, right? Um, yeah. Joshua says, what's the best way for wireless phone cameras on an ATEM Mini Extreme? You know, I actually have a video about exactly this. Let me grab the link to that because there are a few options and there are different trade-offs to them. So let me, there it is. I have a few versions of this video for the ATEM Mini or the Magewell Director Mini or the Ghost Stream, but here's the wireless phone with ATEM Mini video. Caseload says, missed my question up top about the Sony PDT-FP1. Does anybody have experience with it on live streaming? Sony PDT-FP1. What is this? Oh, you know, I saw this at NAB and I couldn't quite figure out what it was. Portable data transmitter. It seems to be so it's got an HDMI in. It looks like it's a streaming encoder. I don't really understand exactly what. So I remember this was in the Sony booth. This must have been 2 NABs ago. This was in the Sony booth. And it was part of their whole camera to cloud story, which was like the theme of NAB 2024. It felt like everybody had a camera to cloud thing that they were showing last year, and that was Sony's. I didn't really get a good chance to play around with it because they just wanted me to come in and do an interview and then leave. It was very, very. This was when I was doing the project with Joseph last year. It was very interesting. Anyway, I don't have a good sense of what its capabilities are. It seems like it's an encoder with the HDMI in, single HDMI in encoder. Given an internet connection, it can upload. But yeah, that's all I really know about it. I'm curious if anybody else has used it. Technicom 360 Studios says, I have 3 cameras and 2 mics connected to 2 of them. Using a mix effect with VFA automation, I can switch between the 2 with audio. How can I switch to the 3rd camera, which has no audio source? So okay, there is an option. There's a way to do this, but where is my iPad? So in mix effect, you don't need audio in each of the cameras, but you do need to decide how you want to trigger the 3rd camera. So so here, for example, I have not that much audio coming in, right? Like I have MADI 1, which is the digital audio mix from the mixer, and then like not a lot of other stuff coming in. So if we go to, is this a bad idea to do this? I just need to make sure it's not actually not actually going to switch the camera based on this. So when you configure the video follows audio, let's say you have 2 microphones. You have you enable it for the audio source. When it's greater than blah blah blah. Change program source, and then how do you do this? There's a way to do this. I did this for. Oh, now I'm not remembering this. There was a way to do it, because basically I set it up where it was two cameras with audio, or 2 audio channels. No, it wasn't even camera audio. 2 audio channels, and then it will fall back to the wide shot. Oh, I remember. Okay. So if you have your two cameras, you say, okay, when the audio is greater than this level, switch to camera one. And then great. And then on the other one, you do the same. Oh, geez. I need to not turn that on. I don't know why it did the transition. That's interesting. Oh, it must be set on the. It must be set on this. Yeah, it did the auto transition, so it ran the stinger. That's really funny. Okay, let's turn that off. So you do this on two channels, right? You have your two microphone channels, and they don't have to be tied to the camera because you can choose this audio channel can trigger any camera. So do that for your two, and then you go to the main audio up here, and you say when the audio levels are less than a certain amount, go to your third camera. So that's how you fall back to the wide shot. It's when but it only works on the you set that up on the main audio channel, and that gives you essentially it the three audio sources that it's listening to. So it's listening to each camera and then the mix. Michael says this FTP upload feature is interesting, but that's crazy cheap for a bonding encoder. I don't think it's a bonding encoder. I think it's just like multiple SIMs or whatever. Oh yeah, Nils said that too. That's why I was confused about it. K9 says, I bought 4 of the AV cans LV20N. What's LV2010? Is that the name of is that the model number of the PTZ camera? I never actually knew that. Oh, that's like a slightly different one than the one I have. This is darker gray. I wonder what the difference is. Anyway, they're all very similar. Where was that? Anyway, natively or with companion, I can get the tally lights to work with the ATEM. Maybe that's the difference with this one. I don't think mine have tally lights. Let's see. Which is the one that I have? Or do they just change the color of it and that is the one that I have? I should find the IP address and actually log into it. Where is it? Here's one. Uh-oh. What is the password? I feel like it's something silly. Like admin123 or something. Huh. I swear it was like admin123. I do actually appreciate a lot of the newer cameras, a lot of the newer gear, whether that's like cameras or encoders, like the Director Mini. The first time you log in, actually, oh yeah, the GrandStream VoIP gateway does this too. There's a default password written on the bottom on a sticker, and it's actually a random password on the sticker. But as soon as you log in, it actually forces you to change the password. And it forces you to change the password as soon as you log in. And I actually really appreciate that because that means that I will generate a random password in my password manager and save it in the password manager, and then I actually have it with a good password and saved. But I'm not going to save the default password in the password manager for some reason. K9 says admin, oh, lowercase. Thank you. Okay, that worked. Okay, so I think that they don't have a model number on here. I don't think mine have a tally light. So I've never looked at that feature. Yeah, I don't see any features in there about tally. Trying to figure out the difference between two similar looking but differently priced products by the same company is such a pain. I agree. Okay, yours has auto tally in the web UI. Mine does not. I don't have anything. So I think that must be the difference between the two models. Sorry, I don't have any way to help figure that out really. I don't think you're going to have any luck with the ATEM directly, because that's like the Blackmagic special protocol. But you should be able to hook something up with Companion if you can figure out which like command to send to it to turn on the light. I'm thinking like if there's a Visca command to turn the light on and off, you can then set up a trigger in Companion. You could do something like on condition becoming true. There is an ATEM. So there's a not program source. There's a camera on air state, I feel like. Let's see, is it called air upstream key? Tally. It's just called tally. So in here you can say the tally condition for one of the inputs. I shouldn't do that one. That one's named very confusing. Oh, and apparently that one's not connected into Companion yet. Okay, well, ATEM SDI tally camera 1. When that becomes true, then you could have it send the Visca command. But I don't know if there's a tally command for it or not. Custom command. Sometimes you might be able to find that and do it this way. Because basically then this trigger will always be listening for this condition. And as soon as Companion receives the tally condition from the ATEM, it'll run that. So that was how it would work if it's possible. But sorry, I can't test it. Omer says, I will stream video and audio between two locations one way. Can I do this with ZoeText, ZoeBox devices? Encode, decode. Yes, you can. That would work. So yeah, you can. The ZoeBox can be in either encoder or decoder mode, so you can switch it between the two. So you should be able to use that. So that's an option. Aiden says there was tally on off. You passed it. Oh, did I really? Let's search for tally here. Oh, look at that. On. I don't think mine has a tally light, but we can at least. There is a second light. I can just make a button to test it. Anyway, this should probably work then for you. Let me get rid of that. And let's just make a button. Step 1. Step 2. And let's see if I see anything. No. Yeah, mine doesn't have it. But that's cool. That should work for yours then. Gape says, any thoughts on the new Atmos Ninja TX monitor recorder to cloud unit? I haven't even heard of that. Let's see. This is what I mean by I have not been following stuff closely. Atmos Ninja monitor. This one? New. Okay. New. Direct upload to Frameo, Dropbox, Atmosphere. This looks, if not exactly the same, very similar to the one we actually used for the NAB project last year. It must be, it says this is new, so I assume we used a different earlier model. I wonder what the difference is. It works. It worked. Like we were able to, live upload the footage from NAB. So that was cool. Wish they would add audio and video talkback to the Zoe-Tech boxes. That sounds to me like a whole remote video workflow then. That would be very cool. You're one of the few people who can pronounce my name correctly. I don't even remember what I said. Thanks for the info. Was hesitant about Zoe-Tech. I've done a couple of live streams with it in the past. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find the. If you search the questions from the past streams, you might find demos of it. So there should be a link in the description to search chapters. And looks like I got somebody to buy 3 Zoe-Techs before. This must be a demo segment. Anyway, if you click to that, you'll find, or this one, you'll find the timestamp of that stream where I went through it. They're definitely like one of the better UIs of those kind of little boxes. It's still got some quirks, but it's decent. Do you still offer 20-minute consulting sessions? The Calendly link on my website doesn't work. No, I had to turn that off because I just literally don't have any time for that anymore. That's probably why the Calendly link didn't work. I can't remember if I canceled my Calendly account or just blocked all the calendar times off. Sorry. Technicom says, looking for an inexpensive SRT device to bring in remote guests. Any suggestions? Audio and video talkback would be good to have. I mean, I feel like this is like... So the YoloBox does remote guest. It's probably the most out of the box remote guest video workflow out of all of them for as far as hardware goes. Because you just click add guest, they get a link, they join. It has some quirks. Unless they fixed it in an update, there were some audio glitches every now and then, which is always a risk, I guess, with it anyway, based on the number of inputs that you're processing on it. Also, but once you start getting past that, your options get, well, okay. The other thing that works very similar to the YoloBox is Ecamm with its built-in remote guest and vMix with its built-in Zoom feature. So those are both good options also. And then it starts getting into much more complicated workflows. So Zoom ISO, great solution. Definitely takes a lot of hardware and plugging things together to make it work. This is why I'm also excited about the CallMe feature, because I feel like they probably want to do a video version of it with the RØDECaster, and if they do, it'll probably work very similarly to the CallMe feature. That's my guess. We'll see. So yeah, I don't know. I think your easiest options are YoloBox, Ecamm, vMix. Ecamm is a built-in guest feature. vMix, I think, is done through Zoom with the built-in Zoom SDK. Gwen says some of the Ninja TX updates built-in SDI. I didn't realize the other one didn't have SDI. Include a license for NDI, timecode over Bluetooth. Cool, okay. vMix also has vMix Call. Oh, okay. They do also have their own thing, right? Ecamm does Zoom also. Okay. Zoom has been on a roll getting their SDK bundled into everything. So see where else it ends up soon. Yeah, they did the, I think, was it last year or the year before when they did a big push on the meeting SDK to get it embedded in third-party software, and that was when they must have launched it 2 years ago, because then vMix and Ecamm actually have it now. But this is they did a big push to get it to be able to be embedded with like into Ecamm and vMix and other things. So they do have an option for like using it in non-software things too. So we'll see when that happens. And Ecamm has both guest and Zoom integration. Cool. Yeah. See, I think this is where things are like that's where I think that the like new innovation stuff is happening, because it's still hard. It's just hard to do, and either hard or expensive. And I feel like if a film crew that is getting paid buckets of money can't even manage based on the existing gear, then there's clearly an opportunity. Someone needs to make a version of that is accessible to film crews rather than people who do live productions. Michael says we have the guys at Liminal to thank for that. That was their first task after being acquired by Zoom. Totally. Yeah. Zoom and ZoeBox integration. That would be an interesting one. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to them. Okay. Where was I? I was... Oh yeah. Should I set up the RØDECaster video for Lily? Oh yeah, so I didn't do the vertical stream this week, but I wanted to mention briefly. Last week for Lily's stream on Tuesday evening, I was traveling, but I was like at the airport about to board the plane, so I was like, I can probably actually pull this off. Before I left, I plugged in the Magewell Director Mini into her ATEM, gave it a video feed from the ATEM, and then put it into vertical mode, and then just left it there. And then remotely, I was able to come in over the VPN and configure it, and actually start a vertical stream for her channel as well remotely. So I got that running for hers, and it was really interesting what happened. I kind of want to show the stats from this. So let me pop over to her YouTube. So she did her normal horizontal stream from the ATEM, and then I remotely went in and told the Director Mini to do a vertical stream. Does it not show? Oh, weird. The stats totally changed after it finished processing. I wonder if I saved a screenshot, because it was absolutely more than that. So while live, what ended up happening was, I think I saved a screenshot. Let me see if I can find it. As soon as we started, I waited until like 10 seconds or something before, like the countdown was at 10 seconds before I hit go live on the vertical stream to not have just the counter. Because I knew YouTube was going to push it out to people. And it was really interesting because there was a clear like burst of viewers. There it is. Can't show that PDF. That is the Roadcaster video beta firmware features feature list, which I am not supposed to show you yet. This is what we saw live. So there was a burst a few minutes into the stream that was about like 33 people live, and the chat correspondingly was also got weird. Like people just started putting in random stuff into the chat, just being like hi, say hi, and then they would drop off because they're clearly not the target audience. So sharp drop off after that, and then there was a second burst of people, and a few more of that burst stuck around after. And I just thought it was really interesting that like YouTube was clearly pushing the live out to people's shorts feeds, testing two different groups of audiences to see what would happen. And it was, yeah, so that was what happened to her. More of a, I felt like that was more of a spike for her compared to when I did it on mine, which was very interesting. Anyway, I did not bring it back down from upstairs, so it's still sitting upstairs, and that's why I'm not live vertically today. Did I do that on plain Wi-Fi too? No. So I was in the lounge when I started it, and then it was running, and then I was like, okay, I think we're fine. So I had to close my laptop and actually go board. And then once I was on the plane, I was just on my phone watching the stream. And I was still chatting on the stream, but I was not controlling it remotely anymore. And I just left it running. Did you tune your AV Can's video config settings, or are they the default? I did change them. Yeah, I do recommend doing some tweaks to this. Where did my tab go? I saw the IP address in my clipboard. I do. So I do recommend doing some tweaks to it. I can show you what I've done. I always feel like it's a little bit too sharp by default, so I unsharpen it a little bit. These are the settings I use for this overhead camera right now. This is the one that's up on, where is it? Do I not have, oh, right, other screen. So that's the camera that's up there. So yeah, I reduced the sharpness a little bit, which is the thing that makes the most difference. Because if you see, it just looks more like, it just looks worse when it's super sharp. I like it dropped down a bit. And then I changed the anti-flicker to 50 hertz because the ATEM buttons blink at a rate that you can't see with 50 hertz, but if they're at 60, then they flicker on the camera, which is very annoying. So I did that. And then I did leave my exposure set to auto because based on the different positions, I do need it to adjust the exposure. I kind of wish I could set exposure settings per position. I don't know if I can do that in a way that makes sense. So that would be the next thing I would want to do. Nobody seemed to know why they were on the vertical stream. It's true. Has anybody tried? Aiden says, has anyone tried the Zoom Rooms custom AV controller app? I would send a link to the support page about it, but it'll get my message hidden. If you do that, I can show the message. Zoom Rooms custom AV controller app. NDI hardware, iOS DI, and Dante. Oh, wow. Fancy. No, I've never seen that before. David says, I missed this already, but is there a new firmware update for RØDECaster video coming soon with new features? So they did a firmware update relatively recently with some new features that actually fixed a bunch of stuff and made it just already a ton more useful. But there is a current beta version that's like a closed beta with some pretty big deal new features, which I cannot talk about yet, unfortunately. But very, very exciting new features coming. I don't have a release date estimate for that. But they have not taken too long, I feel like, between releases so far. So I assume it's not going to be that long until it comes out. And yeah, all I will say is, if you watch my video from setting up the RØDECaster video for the Livestream earlier that I did, there were a couple of things in there that was like, this is a little bit awkward. I can't quite do this. They already fixed several of those. So like, I think one of them was when let's see, let me make sure I'm not on the beta one when I do this. So this is the production version. Yeah, it is this one. So, okay, so if I load in like a video clip for this animation, it used to be that the only options were once or loop, which means you would push the button to play the video clip and it would either infinitely play or it would just stop like this. And clearly, like for a little kind of segment, in between segment, especially when it's that short, you don't want to have to manually switch back to a camera and get the timing exactly right, because you don't really know when that's going to end, right? There is a little progress bar on the multi-view, but so like you can watch the progress bar, but like getting the timing right there's no way I'm going to be able to manually time the transition back to the main camera, right? So now what they did is they added a switch to. So when that is done, it will automatically switch back to whatever camera you've chosen in the setting here. So now it actually works really well, where you can press the media button, it'll run the video clip, and now with no hands, as soon as that's done, it'll fade back to the main camera. So that was one of the things I specifically mentioned in that video, and that was in the last update. Anyway, there's a few more little things like that made it a little bit awkward to use for this kind of setup that are now getting fixed in the most recent beta. So we will hopefully have some good news on that shortly. Gwen says, maybe you can set manual exposure for different positions using Companion. Probably. Let's see what I can do there. So if we go back to this, if I presets, I think presets are just positions. I don't think I can build it into the preset. But I might be able to actually send it some exposure commands. Let's see. Are there set exposures? Focus, exposure mode, set gain. Okay. So manual, set gain is what it was, right? Ooh, that's not really exposure. Is there a exposure compensation? That's not what, maybe that's the best I can do. So I could do that and then set the value. So if I go to, what is this one? Director 1. So if I, where did it go? So I go to that camera. Press Director 1. Let it do auto exposure and then say, do I like this? If not, I can up the exposure compensation. So this is set to +4. This might work. So it'll do auto exposure +1 or -1, which might be just what I want. Plus whatever, minus whatever. Because so for that one, like I might want minus. Might want to drop it down 1. This is not really working. Yeah, this is not really working very well. I don't like it. I don't see. Can it only return to a set input or can it return to the previous input? Oh, on the Roadcaster, I think it can only return to a set input, which is a good feature request. Switch to input or media. Yeah, so it can't switch back. Yeah, that would make sense, right? Because then if you were like on a different one and then you ran, you would want it to switch back to that one. It's a good feature request. I will tell them that. Switch to previous input would make sense. I feel like that's doable. Yeah. Please tell me what keyboard and mouse pad that is. This is an Apple keyboard. It's just a regular Apple keyboard with the fingerprint reader. The mouse pad is something I found. I think it was on AliExpress, and then I bought a couple of them in case they get dirty, which they have, and now I have some replacements to swap in if I need to. I can't get them clean. Yeah, okay, let's do a quick little run through of this. So because I just did this button, which now does what we want of running the animation. One thing I haven't figured out the best way to do yet right now is the countdown timer. Because right now her countdown timer is a video clip. And it is a 5-minute long video clip. And there's a progress bar on the multi-view, but there's no way to scrub through it. So you can't choose like when to start playing it. So for the countdown, I want to switch to camera 1 after the countdown's done, right? So 5-minute countdown, it's got background music on it, and then it'll go live. But the problem is that unless she presses this button exactly 5 minutes before going live, it'll be off, right? So with her hyperdeck, there's like buttons on there where it's like start from 3 minutes, start from 2 minutes. So really what I want is to be able to say, start this clip from X, which actually, now that I think about it, I haven't looked in Companion to see if that is a possibility, because there might be a Companion option for it. Let's connect her Companion to this. Oh, no, hers is too old, and I don't think it's the plugins there, so I'm going to have to upgrade her Companion. So let's get my mine added. I'm going to add the Roadcaster video. And the IP address is going to change, but for now it's 45.134. And go. Okay. And then we're going to go make a new page. We can do that now. I still need to upgrade my companion to version 4, which I will have to do at some point. Okay. Is there an option? I don't think so. Okay, so that's button press. Yeah, there's media sources. Nope. I should probably also update the, yeah, I don't see anything. I should probably also update the companion plugin here because I haven't actually checked if there's a new version. The other way I was thinking about doing it is just doing it on a timer where it's just automatic. So going into trigger and saying make a new trigger on a specific date and time. Wait, no, on at a specific time. Time of day. So on Tuesdays at she goes live at 4:30. So at 16:25, then press that button, right? So press button A, which should then run G. Button G. Wait, that's not going to work. Media sources. Media A. Media G. There we go. So that should work then, where it'll automatically start the countdown timer. But that also means if she's not ready to go live at exactly 4:30, she's going to be live either way, because as soon as the countdown runs out, it'll just start. Oh, but Into the Churches also said the same thing. Use a trigger and companion to start the countdown timer. That works. Dan Splaining says, I made a countdown timer for OBS that counts down to a specific time instead of counting down for a set duration. Oh, that would work fine in OBS, but this is a video clip that's recorded. Which I guess that's the other option, is I could move her countdown timer to OBS, because we, a while ago, actually switched her chat over to OBS instead of, or through my webpage chat system instead of just like the browser extension. Michael says, I recently got a mechanical keyboard I really like, but it's a bummer with no Touch ID. About to rip it out and 3D print an enclosure for just that one button. Seen a couple people doing that, or double-sided taping the Apple keyboard to their bottom of their desk. That's hilarious. And you just have a button under the you have your Touch ID under the desk. That would work. I like that. Maybe you have an ARM type button to stop in case she's not ready. I've done similar logic for graphic overlays before. She's usually ready on time. Maybe I can test it by, I don't think I'm going to be able to set up. No, I'm definitely not. Not going to set up this Roadcaster video for this Tuesday stream because I'm also out of town again. I think I'll be flying back. I think I'll be at the lounge again at the same time for the same flight on the way back. So I'll do the vertical stream again for her, but possibly next week, because I think I'm in town next week. We'll switch her over to the Roadcaster video, so we'll see. Maybe I can test the auto timer for her this week. So here, let's just do this. Let's do this right now. Start countdown. And this is going to be time of day. This is the old one, huh? 16:25. What's this? On Tuesdays. I think I'm going to do a button press because now I need to find it, because this button does several things. It selects the clip, presses play, sets the downstream keys and the hyperdeck inputs, and mutes the mic and all that stuff. So yeah, we're going to press button 2.2. So we're going to edit that, and we're going to say button 2.2. And now, 5 minutes before her stream, it'll start the countdown. She will still be able to adjust the countdown on Tuesday. So if she wants to add time or shorten it or whatever, and still has to manually start the show, but at least now it will start automatically. We'll see how it goes. It'll be fun. Okay, so other things to do here. For the Roadcaster version of this, we will have to figure out the countdown timer solution. I might have to just move it into OBS. We need to grab her output from OBS also. I'm gonna have to recreate companion pages because she's not gonna press the buttons on the Roadcaster video in this setup either. So I'll have to make a new companion page for it. So we've got camera, cat cam, Apple TV, which is for computer sharing. And then I think this one I plugged in. Oh, this was the iPad for the web page. So then the layouts we need. So we have, usually she wants to be able to do, I'm going to do custom for all this. So I'm going to, oh, I need to bring in a background graphic. So let's do that in F. So in this scene, we're going to go and do the background. We're going to add camera 1. So the different layouts she usually does are overhead, picture, computer, her camera. Let's do those two first. And I'm going to crop this in. Oh yeah, snapping was another thing they added from my early testing. Now it shows you these alignment lines, which is really handy. Oops, didn't need to do that. I guess I did. There it is, inputs. I should rename these also. Let's do that first. So this is going to be main cam. This is overhead. This is going to be cat cam. Don't know what we're going to do with cat cam in the new set, because it's not going to be in the same room. This is the Apple TV, and then this is the this is OBS. Should I call it OBS or graphics? We're gonna call it OBS. Okay, so now when I'm doing this, I can find these better. Input is overhead. So let's do that. And main camera. Probably going to have to do some tweaks on the position, because I don't know if she's actually sitting in the same spot as when this recording was happening. Great. Okay. Then we need to copy this over here. So I just long press on that to copy it over there. And then we're going to change the overhead camera to the Apple TV, which is what her computer screen will be shared into over AirPlay. And then usually she also wants to have a cat cam when they're doing something funny. So let's just set that to cat cam. And oh, we need to deal with the scene audio also. So I think most of these are going to be, really it's just the countdown we want to adjust the scene audio for. So when the countdown is on, we don't want the microphone live, but everything else is fine, because that's all, well, no, probably no Bluetooth if we ever do Bluetooth audio, which we so far have not, and probably also no USB audio. But then the rest of these are going to have everything enabled. scene audio is also one of the things they did in the last update, which is super cool. Okay, so we'll leave her microphone on for this clip because it's so short. So now we have layouts and oh, they don't have the circle picture-in-picture. That was the other thing we did, where we did a let me copy that over here, where we did the overhead camera like full size so that you can see the planners better, and then the main camera, instead of being a square, being having rounded corners. So don't have the ability to do that right now, but I can at least make it small and in the corner square. Don't need borders. Okay, that's a pretty good start. I might have to do the rest of this in the beta software. It just means I can't show you what's happening. Because I know there's some things I can do in the beta that will make it work better for her. Preston says, what are your thoughts on Meld Studio? Somebody mentioned that last week, and I've never used it. I've never heard of it before, but I feel like somebody mentioned it yesterday or last week. Oh yeah, it's a OBS alternative. Really interesting. Oh, they have rounded corners. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. Christian says hello from the Netherlands. Hello, hello. We're show us the beta. We won't tell anybody. Michael says they had a huge spend on ads and sponsorships. That's why everybody's hearing about it now. Okay, that makes sense. I wonder if they emailed me and I just ignored them, because honestly, that's been the deal with most of my inbox. Nope. I don't have anything from them unless it went to spam. Well, good. I don't feel bad about ignoring them then. You asked last week. Super interesting. Wonder what their deal is. Cool. All right. Should probably wrap this up. It's been 90 minutes already. Time flies. And I did not have to talk to the police, thankfully. But they did come and get the phone. Yeah. What's happening next week? So next week, I will be back here. I'll be back same time, same place. I will probably not have had any. No. Not same time. Not same place next week. I forgot already again. Next week is the bridge pedal. Totally different time, totally different place. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to, on Saturday, set up all the gear on the bike. I don't know what I'm going to bring yet, or how many cameras. So we'll see. Try to attach a couple cameras in a few different places on the bike to give like at least a front and back view. And I will grab at least one video switcher, possibly multiple. It will really depend on how much time I have on Saturday. And then I will try to live stream the bike ride. So I'll probably bring the Starlink dish and the travel router with a SIM card in it, and at least those two. Stream those back to the studio. Run the stream from the studio so that it won't drop in case my internet drops, but the video link will be gone. Oh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a thing where if I type a message into the YouTube chat, it'll auto show it on the screen. If there's no link in it, because if I drop a link, I don't want it to auto show. But that way, if the stream goes down or something, I will be able to type in the chat and it'll show up in the video. Instead of just being a black screen. I might put a little border around the screen, just so that there's some content there. Oh, I'll also have the map running. So I'll have the little map in the corner of where I'm at, and that'll always be live updating. So there'll be something on the stream all the time, and then hopefully also my video, and that'll be the stream next week. Do I think I'll use GoPro, AV cans, Go for the bike cameras? Probably not the GoPro, because the only way this works is with the media mod, and I just don't like it. I guess it's fine now that I have now that I have it all, it works. It'll be my backup. I will probably be using the DJI Action for the front, Action 5 over USB, oh, it's true. If I go over USB, I can only plug it into one device. This is an interesting limitation. So if I have like the Director Mini with me and I plug a camera over USB, I can't plug that USB camera into anything else. Interesting. Would be cool to do unlisted live streams of each encoder if someone wants to check the performance of each individually. Is that a thing? How much bandwidth do I have? Because if I do that, I would need to... If I do that, how am I going to get it into the main stream? I don't want to screen capture YouTube, because I'm not going to be able to do that from the bike. But if the encoder is pushing to the Magewell Director or the Magewell Pro Convert, and I want that to go to YouTube, I would need to send 2 streams from the device, which means double the bandwidth. I don't know. Interesting. I will think about it. And yeah, I'll give it some thought. At the very least, I'll have one stream going. And if I do only one, it'll probably be with the Magewell Director Mini. And if I do that, I will also get Speedify connected. I will buy Speedify so I can have the wired network and Wi-Fi from the Director Mini combined. Probably that. CSD says, I get the feeling you don't feel GoPros are not a great idea for general use sports cams. Is there a reason and recommendation for an alternative? Yes. I have videos about this. If you just search my channel for GoPro, you'll find some videos. Let me drop some links in the chat. So this is don't buy a GoPro for live streaming. So the TLDR of that one is in order to use a GoPro successfully with live switchers, you need to do so much to it. You need to install the labs firmware. You need a GoPro. You need the media mod, which is a whole chunk of change extra on top. You can make it work. Don't recommend it. Too expensive. If you do want to do this, here's all the settings to change these settings on your GoPro. This talks about how to do it. And the other one is more recent, I did, which is about the AV cans Go. And that video, so the AV cans Go, they're in a drawer over there. I will probably bring at least one. I have 2 now. I will probably bring at least one on the bike ride. It is not exactly GoPro shaped, but it is not much bigger. It has optical zoom, which is nice, and the battery lasts way longer. And it actually has features like SRT and HDMI out, so you can do a lot more stuff with it. It's not an action camera, but it's way better for a live stream camera that is small and portable. The DJI Action 5 is probably the better action camera that I would get at this point anyway over a GoPro, even as just an action camera. I feel like at this point GoPro is just a shell of a marketing machine that has done very annoying hardware revisions that don't really do anything except make you have to buy all the accessories again. in the last couple of revisions. So sorry. Normally I'm not so negative about companies, but I feel like GoPro has done nothing to deserve any good compliments recently. So yeah. DJI has some super interesting, super good stuff. They just launched a 360 camera, and then Insta360, who has been getting into the action cam market, has one that is almost the exact same form factor as this also. And they just announced or is it not announced, but it's rumors. There's going to be an Insta360 drone. So Insta360 and DJI are clearly going at each other's markets now, and that's great. So there should be a lot of good stuff coming out on that soon. Neil says, Photo Joseph should hook you up with one of the Tilta shock mounts for the bike. Oh, that's a good idea. I wonder if I have enough time to get one this week. Although, I mean, the stabilization in the cameras is pretty good, and my front fork has suspension, so that helps a ton already too. But for the back, I could use it. I just spoiled all those videos for you, but go watch them so that I get the views. But that's the TLDW. Yeah. Cool. Okay. We really should wrap this up. So yeah, thanks everybody. Thank you to the extreme supporters, Tom, Larry, Andre, Kevin, and Marcin. And thanks to all the other channel members as well for your support. Your channel membership is how I can do things like afford to buy little splitters that go into making the rig back there, or a second Roadcaster video for Lily Studio. So thank you. If you are a channel member, make sure you've joined the Discord. I will almost certainly be posting a lot this week, as I am thinking about the bridge pedal ride now. So now that I've got to get this into my head that it's actually next Sunday, like in now 6 days. And I need to prep for that and put the rig together. So Saturday, if I feel like I have enough time, I will try to do a members stream of setting everything up for the stream. No promises on that though, because it really will depend on how much other stuff I'm trying to cram into the weekend, and if I need to just like scramble to throw it together or not. But it could be fun. Otherwise, yeah, I will see you all again next week on a bicycle riding around town earlier than normal. So that'll be fun. I will make sure that gets posted with the correct time later this week when I figure out the whole schedule. See you that